All right, all right, all right. Shalom, shalom, and shalom, Sister Deborah, coming with an awesome message. And this message is going to cover the yoke. The yoke. I'm going to use the yoke as the Ruach HaKodesh. I'm going to use the yoke as many call the Holy Spirit or the Holy Ghost. And I'm going to kind of put in place uh, the yoke versus the flesh. So I want you to come with me, and I'm going to teach this message. I want to start from the book of Mark. And if it's in Mark, we know that it's in Matthew's. If it's in Matthew's, we know it's in Luke. If it's in Luke, we know that it's in John. But we're going to take what Mark in the book of Mark, and it matches Matthew's, it matches Luke, and it matches John. Okay? So, but we're going to take Mark chapter 10. We're going to start off at verse 2. Now, this is a situation here in which it's going to be very, very hard for me to go in and pull out. So I want you to have patience with me. When I get into stuff like this here, it's kind of hard for me to pull out. And I tend to pinpoint every sharp sword that is piercing me in every verse. So I'm going to take it kind of slow, but I'm going to move it along. But I want you to have just patience with me, because I want to usher in the yoke, being the Ruach HaKodesh in us as individuals. So in Mark 10, chapter 10, verse 2, let's start there. And the Pharisees came to him and they asked him, "Is it lawful for a man to put away his wife?" This is just a form where they were tempting him. And it says, tempting him. They already knew what Moses had said to them. They just wanted to see if his answer is going to match Moses, so they can have something to use to counteract what Moses said versus Yeshua. So it was a form of trying to tempt Yeshua. Now, this is the same way I feel about this message tonight. I want the men and the women not to use this message to change your marriage. Okay? This is to bring light to whatever situation you are in, so you can understand this is why it is the way that it is. You went in it one way, not knowing. But it's not for you to use this message to be your next move in your marriage. Don't do that. Pray to the Father and let him lead and guide you. Don't let what Sister Deborah is saying be your how would I say it? Divorce decree to your wife or to your husband. Okay? So don't use Sister Deborah as the fall guy or the fall person in your marriage. So here it is. Mark chapter 10, verse 2. And the Pharisees came to him and asked him, "Is it lawful for a man to put away his wife?" Tempting him. That's all they was doing, was tempting him. And he answered and said unto them, "What did Moses command you?" What did Moses command you? Okay. And they said, "Moses suffered to write a bill of divorcement and to put her away." Put her away means to divorce her. I want to shine one of the brightest light on the face of the earth in this message, okay? To let you see how far the ball has been dropped for many, many thousands and thousands of years and never picked up, so that a marriage could be the way that God has designed it in him to be. Okay, so verse 3 says, and he answered and said unto them, what did Moses command? They just wanted to contempt him to see if his answer gonna match Moses, but listen to what they say. And they said, Moses suffered, mean allowed, told them to write a bill of divorce and put her away. And Jesus said, ye said unto them, listen to this. And Yeshua, let me say it like that, answered and said unto them. Now Yeshua is finna say something to them. For the hardness of your heart. Hardness of your heart mean wicked, evil. Okay? Of your heart. He wrote you this precept. So when you hear people talk about precept here, a line here, a little here, and a little, you got to understand now. You don't understand the precepts. They think, oh, let's get a precept. Let's get a No. You got it wrong. You guys got it wrong. This Hebrew Israelite movement. They teaches these men to grip every precept they can find to make something make sense. You can't. Because in the precepts, you fail to realize truth going to rest somewhere in it. And that truth going to override a precept. And the truth is spirit and truth. And a precept is just something put there for you could connect something else that's put there to connect to make something make sense. When truth come up, it's going to make sense with a precept or without. So listen to this. Take heed to this, you guys. So Yeshua answered in verse 5 and said unto them, for the hardness of your heart, he wrote you this precept. That means the wicked of your heart. But from the beginning of creation, Yah made them. This is where I told y'all in Genesis the ball was dropped. It was never Yah's will to create him over her. It was always them. Yah don't see him without her. Yah don't see her without him. In Yah, you are called them. Okay? That shows you that Yeshua took you back to the creation, as Sister Deborah have tried to do with you all for too long. Have I tried to bring you back to the beginning? Here go Yeshua doing them the very same way I've done you all so many times. Trying to take you back to the beginning where the ball was dropped. And you really can't get nowhere with a bunch of people. Because they ain't coming up out of nothing to go back to the beginning to pick up the ball. Oh, no. So here, I like what Yeshua is telling them from the beginning of creation. That's what I do. I lead you back to the beginning of the right hand of the Father. That's the creator. Okay? And made them. Now, he could have said, and Yah made male and female. No, he didn't. He wanted to check them in his day and time. And first and foremost say them. Male and female. In a sense, he was showing them, I'm going to tell y'all, and this is why I get saddened every day of my life, because I'm giving you something so powerful and so potent. I know it's going to go straight to past you. Now listen to this. Look at how much power is in there. Yeshua, it could have been said, Yah made male and female. He made them. But Yeshua is in his time. And he's trying to get them to understand from the beginning, it was them. It's never been a choice of him. It has always been the choice of them. See, they missed that. You missed it. And it's sad. It's a sad thing today to me because I feel that power in just that, what I just said. I feel it. I feel that thing. And it's a sad thing if you can't read into that and get it in your spirit. Verse 6, from the beginning of creation, Yah made male and female. Yah made them. No. Yeshua pulling up first and foremost because Yeshua is trying to say to them, the way God created it wasn't that you give her the divorce because he created y'all as them to work and have dominion together. To work and have dominion together. But you all come to me and are making it about him giving her the divorce. See, not a pastor, not a priest, not a minister, not a teacher, not an apostle, not a prophet, not a prophetess would tell you. A bishop. Nobody would tell you what I just told you. And put that in your backpack. Matter of fact, put that in your spiritual backpack. Let's go back there again. Here Yeshua is addressing the Pharisees that came to him regarding putting away their wives. I've heard every Negro try to cover this. And the way they cover it, they underdogged it. That means they told a lot of lies to try to get it to balance. But see, when spirit and truth pour up, anything in the dark gonna start shining. And right here, it does something to me. Because just verse 6 is telling you that Yeshua took them back to where I have taken you all back too many times. Telling you in the beginning that was not so. Man has switched it. And what Yeshua is telling him here in the beginning, that's not how he created it. To the point where he said them first, before he said male and female, he created them. Yeshua wants you to know it was always them. So why is it him pulling up to divorce when it was called them? So if you're going to divorce each other because you're wicked and evil, it should be a mutual thing. Because it's a them thing. Male and female. So you got an issue with the male and you got an issue with the female, is what he said. So when you're coming to Moses, both of you should come. Because in the beginning, he called you them. You're equal in the eyes of Yah. Now, man then took the equal out. And that's why you see the wicked out of men on the earth today at its highest. And they still can't see it. It ain't the women. It's the men. They ain't going to tell you that. They ain't going to own that thing. They ain't going to tell the truth. They on this devil platform saying everything outside of what is true. And that's why I'm excited about Yah's judgment. And if his judgment have to come on me, rain it down, Father. All righteous rest in thee. It rests in your bosom. Because what I'm seeing is not what you all is even seeing. You cannot see what Yah is letting me see. That's why you can't expound. You can't climb on top of what I'm talking about. Because Yah has to give you the sight to see it in the spiritual realm. So here he's letting them know that it was them. So why is male coming to me talking about a written decree? In the beginning, it was them. So how are you coming to give her the divorce? It's them. Both of you had the dominion equally in the eyes of Yah in the beginning. So both of you have to come and assign each one of you from the divorce. But see, the men, they had dropped the ball and took on dominion over woman. And when they did that, that means woman don't have no say so. We can get her a written decree. We can give her a divorce and make her leave. But what Yeshua is saying, the shining light, this is what you call spirit and truth in the end days. Right here. He stepped into them and told them, wait a minute, from the beginning, it was them. So why is him coming and not him and her? Ask them. You want a divorce? You want to divorce your wife? Your wife want to leave? Y'all got to come ask them. That's what he's saying. They don't get it. You know why? They don't get it today. Because they're the same forefather spirit of yesterday. They still don't get it today. Okay. Now verse 7. For this cause shall a man leave his mother and his father and his mother, and cleave to his wife. Now they are considered one. Okay. And they twain shall be one flesh. So then they are no more two, but one flesh. One flesh. Verse 9. Listen to this. What therefore God, Yah, has joined together, let no man put as under. As under. What therefore Yah has joined together, let not man. He didn't say Yah couldn't. Let not man put as under. He didn't say Yah. He said man. Okay. Now, as I spoke of verse 6, and I'm looking here at verse 9. At the sound of my voice, you will sit here and listen to me and still don't know what the rats behind is going on in 9. What's going on in 9, to me, is likened to 6. They dropped the ball. But in 9, what they failed to realize, this here is said when you're married, when you come into a wedding or when you get married, it tells you where therefore Yah God has joined together, let no man put us under. But guess what? He said no man. It don't mean Yah can. He said no man. It doesn't mean Yah can. But before I get to there, let me tell you what he's saying. What he's saying. Okay? He's saying here, only those, therefore, what therefore Yah has joined together. That's the marriage that is together. Yah joined together. 99.9 marriages today is when man and woman join themselves together. So when you're standing in the sanctuary, you're standing in the church, and they are the pastor or whoever in leadership is quoting this verse, they're doing it out of unjust. Because a marriage, first and foremost, must have an understanding of the unity that you're coming into. It's like, what sense does it make to be coming to a marriage unequally yoked? Why would Yah put a light and a darkness together? Why would Yah put a serpent seed and a spiritual seed together? Why would Yah put 2 serpent seeds together? What do unjust have with, no, unrighteous have in common with righteous? So when we see people marrying, 99.9 is not a marriage unto God has joined. People are joining their flesh together out of lust, the desire, and want. Because Yah want us to understand in this verse, what therefore Yah has joined. 99.9 of marriages are not joined by Yah. They are joined by every flesh reason that is possible. You notice how Adam and Eve was joined by God. He joined them together because they were the same seed, a serpent seed. You see? He knew that. But he is not going to join righteous with unrighteous, light and dark, for they have nothing in common. So when Yah said here, what therefore, Yeshua said, what therefore Yah has joined. And just because you're standing here and someone's quoting Yah has joined, don't mean Yah joined you. You see how evil that is, y'all? Do you all see how evil that is? See, what they didn't understand is unequally yoked is where you got one serpent seed and one spiritual seed. Unequally yoked is showing you don't be yoked. Don't be yoked with unbelievers. That means don't hang around unbelievers. Don't be in the midst and joining everything they're in unbelievers. Yoke yourself around someone that's like unto you, a believer. Unequally yoked is not a marriage that Yah has joined. You're unequal. He's not going to put a light and a dark together. You see how long the ball been dropped? That's how long. Since the beginning. It's no respect for the creator in his order. But Yeshua come on the scene and he turn around and tell them from the beginning of creation, what y'all doing now? That wasn't the way he created it. I like that. And many of you out there at the sound of my voice will miss the power in that statement in verse 6. You will miss the power in verse 9. Now, if you get to a place and they say, therefore, those that are joined in one unity together, let no man put you under, then that's fine. But you can't go in there and say, Yah join you together. First and foremost, 99.9 of people getting married don't even believe in Yah. Don't even know anything about Yah. Don't care for Yah. But yet, you're going to say Yah join you together because you want to get married in your flesh? What do Yah have to do with the flesh? What do you have to do with your flesh? Notice it says here in verse 8, and they two shall be one flesh. Didn't Yah say he don't deal with our flesh? Yah has no connection to our flesh, y'all. So he's saying here, when you're two, and they shall be one flesh. I like that because it's showing you and it's showing the Pharisees your flesh came together and it's one flesh. But I only join two equally yoked individuals. You see? So I was explaining to someone, there are people I've talked to that go as far as 60 years marriage, 40 years, 50 years, 30 years, 20 years. And they can sit and write a book about how miserable they are. Because everyone wants to take the order of God or Yah and turn it to the order of man. As I've taught you all time after time, there's two orders. One order in the flesh and one in the spirit. What Yeshua was experiencing, he was dealing with those in the flesh who wanted to tempt him and see if he's going to give them the same okay that Moses gave them. But what he did is he reminded them in the beginning, that's not how he created them, male and female. That means you can't come to no one trying to get a divorce from your wife. You are no longer him, it is them. Everything y'all do, it is them. So why are you getting a divorce decree? So he took them back to the creation. That's not how it was. Now, why Moses told you to do that? Because you already got a wicked heart. You don't do nothing else righteous, so he telling you just write it up and go. So these things is not for everybody. That's why people don't understand. In verse 9, what therefore Yah has joined together, let no man put you under. Now, Yah can separate you or divorce you or bring you to that level, but he said, let no man do it. And if Yah joined you together, Yah know how to put two lights together. He knows how to put two righteous together. You might have a stronger righteous and a weaker righteous. He knows how to put two lights together. One light is bright and one light is dim. But he knows how to put you together in the marriage that he has joined. But the world quote this verse at every marriage. 99.9% of marriage has not even had marriage counseling. They just go in out of their flesh and they unite themselves in unity. Now, when you get to First Corinthians or second, you're not bound to that marriage because it's not a marriage equally yoked. It wasn't a marriage that Yah has joined. You see? Because a lot of people got married before they even knew anything about truth, even about what I'm talking about now. So therefore, you're not bound to it when you don't know. Therefore, you're not bound to that marriage. You see what I'm saying? In the eyes of Yah. You're not bound to that marriage in the eyes of Yah because he didn't join that marriage together. So Yeshua did a really smart thing here, but what I'm feeling sad about, in spite of how Yeshua broke it down for the prophet to know exactly what he means in the spirit of truth, these Hebrew Israelite men can't grip this. They can't do nothing with this, but make it out alive. See, we can divorce our wife. We can you see? They didn't understand nothing he said in verse 6. And in verse 6, he's telling them, don't come to me as male. In the beginning, he created male and female. He created them. And if that's something that you all have joined, both of you need to come. He was stopping them in their tracks and they missed it, just as they miss it today. And then when he turned around and said, what therefore Yah has joined. There's a time he told the Hebrew Israelites to don't mix with other nations. You see? We don't have respect for the choices that Yah has set us before us. We make our own choices. And that's why we're going through what we're going through right today. Okay. So I wanted to put that out there, and I hope you got something out of that, because honestly, you guys, the saddest thing about that, what I just gave, I gave you much spiritual power. That's what you call strictly spiritual power. Because no man on this earth could have broke this down to you in verse 6. They couldn't have. They couldn't look at the thing. They couldn't look at verse 6 and see where it says, and Yah made them. You see? Why would you bring that up, Yeshua? They just asking about, can they give her a decree of written? And their heart is evil anyway, but you took them back to the beginning. I love that. You see? And that's how Sister Deborah do y'all. She take y'all back to the beginning. Do you want to go there? No, you don't. You're still without any understanding. So here it is. We have this word called equally yoked. What is the purpose of equally yoked? Those are two that Yah has joined together, yoked together. They're equally yoked. They have people who have dated and have seek ye the kingdom first. She have, he has, and they have decided that Yah is going to be the pillar of our marriage. That's the marriage Yah joined together. All this mess out here, y'all can say what you want. And yes, many people have married. And that's why in Corinthians, he's telling you, you're not bound to that marriage. He even tells you, if one is, you didn't know what you know today, and one is not a believer, and if they want to stay, don't divorce them, let them stay, sanctify that one. And vice versa. The husband can sanctify his wife, and his wife can sanctify her husband. That's the working of Yah when he's saying that you can sanctify one another. If the believer don't want to leave, or the believer desire to stay, then you walk in the light and let him see your light shine. Then therefore you can sanctify him. Or if he is walking in the light and you're not a believer, the woman's not a believer, he can sanctify the woman. Just walk in the light. This is marriages who didn't know what Sister Deborah is talking about now and have gotten into a marriage. But your marriage is not bound to the law of Yah. Okay? It's not bound in the heavens as something Yah has joined together, because you had no understanding when you came into a oneness in the flesh. Keep in mind why he keeps saying the flesh, because it's not acceptable in the spirit. Just because you marry in the flesh, it's not acceptable in the eyes of Yah in the spirit. You see? Until one gets sanctified and the other believer don't believe, then the one, don't force the other one out, because you came in it unequally yoked. Try to sanctify the one that's not the believer. It ain't something you could do. Just keep letting your light shine, and it'll shine so bright on him, he would want the light that's in you. Vice versa. His light will shine so much, you would want the light that's in him. Okay? You still, that way you can still come into the oneness of the spirit. Okay? So here I want to show you an egg. I hope you can see it. This is an egg. Inside the egg is the yolk. The yolk reminds me of the Holy Spirit. It's surrounded by the flesh. The yolk is the flesh. No, that's not right. The yolk is, let's say it's the spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh. And the outer part is the flesh. The white part is the flesh. You see it? The center is the Ruach HaKodesh. And the outer part, which is white, it is the flesh. This yoke is where Yah abide. He is nowhere in the flesh. He's in the yoke. That's him. This is how we have to see Yah and not try to make him who we are on the outside, the flesh. Always know that he is in the inside. He is the spirit that reside in us. And on the outside of us have a total different mindset. On the outside of us could be white flesh or brown. We can be white nation or a brown nation. But it has no relevance to the yoke within. The yoke within is greater than the outside of the color of the shell, brown and white. The yoke is the only part that Yah reside in. The flesh is on the outside, and the yoke is on the inside. Okay? And your race, it's on the shell. You either brown or you white. Okay? The most important thing is this. We keep trying to make ourselves have this yoke on the inside. Without this yoke on the inside, you are no one to Yah. You are no one to Yah. If you don't have the Holy Spirit on the inside, you missed it all, and you're missing it all. Sister Deborah tries to instill that in people. When you hear me say it, and I got it, I know I got it. Look, I say that like that because my spirit discerns the mindset of people. They so assured that they're in there that they don't even understand. They can't see their actions. They can't see their ways. It's not matching the mouth that says that the Ruach is in them. It's not matching. It's not there. Okay, so let's go to Matthew chapter 11, verse 29. Matthew chapter 11, verse 29 and 30. Matthew chapter 11, verse 29 and 30. And it reads in 29, "Take my yoke upon you and learn of me. For I am meek and lowly in heart. Lowly in heart. And ye shall find rest in your spirit if you have this in you, the yoke." And it says here in verse 29, "Take my yoke upon you and learn of me." If you don't have this yoke in you, you can't learn of him. I don't care how long I can be on this devil platform for 1,000,000 years teaching you. And if you don't have the yoke in you, you cannot learn of him without the yoke. For I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest unto your spirit if you have the yoke in thee. I'm not talking about the outer, your flesh. You have to have the yoke in thee. Verse 30. For my yoke is easy and my burdens are light. So he's telling you about the yoke. People are not concerned about this yoke. They done made themselves believe they in there. They don't care if they don't have the yoke. Let's go to 2 Corinthians. 2 Corinthians. 2 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 14. 2 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 14. Be ye not. 2 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 14. Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship, I like that, have righteous with unrighteous? And what communication have light with dark? So here is trying to tell Sister Deborah, don't yoke yourself with unbelievers. Because you got this yoke, the Ruach in you. Many have not the Ruach, but find themselves in the midst and the surroundings of you without Yah's yoke in them. And it says here in 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14, be ye not unequally yoked together with believers. Listen to this. For what fellowship? This is the breakthrough for me. This is what I call a comforter. Because it's saying, what fellowship have righteous with unrighteous? So when you hear me on here and you hear me speaking and high pitched about people and how people actions and how people conduct themselves and how people act and think and feel, this is right here because they're unbelievers. Okay, they're unequally yoked. They don't have the yoke, which is Yah, living in them. So if they don't have it, what does that mean, Deborah? We are unequally yoked. And it tells you here. And what communication have light with darkness? See, you all, this thing is between two entities. The unbeliever and the believer, righteous and unrighteous, light and darkness. So it's showing, Sister Deborah, it ain't you. It's those who will come around. They are unequally yoked. Now, right here, he said, be not, as if you need to really focus on that. Not being in the midst of unequally yoked. Wait a minute, hold up. How would you know? You see? Because Yah give you the spirit to try the spirit. And then on top of that, he gives you the spirit of discerning. A lot of people have no idea their actions speaks louder than their words. Their action speaks of who they are. And they have no idea. So here, I like this because 2 Corinthians in chapter 6 and verse 14, it put unequally yoked. Believers and unbelievers, righteous and unrighteous, and light and darkness. He's telling you we have nothing in common. And in this midnight hour, my suggestion is for people to really focus on where they need to be in their journey on this earth. Okay? This here is an egg, and inside the egg is a yolk. It's something that I'm using as an example of the ruach. A believer has the ruach. A believer has righteous. What is that over? What's that hanging from the? No, that's the knob. I mean the switch. And the light and the darkness. That's beautiful. Because it's actually telling people, don't be unequally yoked. You know who you are in the Father. You know who you are. Stop being in the midst of those that's the opposite of who you are. And you know that you all are opposite. Okay? Now, what happens when the Holy Spirit that's in you, it teaches your spirit how to get the flesh under to subjection to the spirit. The ruach in your spirit teaches your spirit how to get the flesh, how to get this white part, which is the flesh, under the subjection. How does it do that? The ruach teaches your spirit how to blend your flesh in with the weights of your spirit. And this is what it looks like once you mix it together. You see? You see no white. You see no flesh. You mix it together. You mix the yolk with the white part, and it becomes a solid oneness. Because the ruach, throughout times, the ruach would teach your flesh how to get your spirit. The ruach would teach your spirit. The ruach would teach your spirit. The spirit that's in you of the ruach would teach that wider part how to be in subjection to the spirit within. And now you don't see the flesh. It's mixed in with the spirit. That's what he means when he says get the flesh under the subjection to the spirit. Get it to be willing to follow the ways of the spirit. You see, it can be done. It can be done. So I, Sister Deborah, hope that you got something out of that short lesson. And I say unto you, be not unequally yoked among believers as to taking unrighteous and righteous. Let each one have their place. The light and the darkness. That's the same way with marriage. Why would he teach and want us to not to be unequally yoked but yet we keep yoking ourselves together with one another. That's not the marriage of a creator in the kingdom. It's a marriage on the earth, in the flesh and flesh only. And so this is why you see a lot of marriages that has fallen apart. But let me explain something to you. When people talk about marriages, I don't agree with them. I really don't. We can stand here and say mom and my dad was married for 60 years. I can say that. We could say our grandpa and grandma was married for 75 years. Me and my husband been married 40 and 50. But if anyone would ever come up with truth, spirit and truth, they will speak of how miserable they have been in their marriage. They really would. And because they didn't seek being equal when they got married, and then one didn't sanctify themselves so the other can see the light of their sanctification and desire to be sanctified like his wife, or the wife didn't see the sanctification of the husband and desire to be sanctified by her husband. They just left their marriage and they thrive on the fact, oh, we've been married 40 years, 50 years. We've been married 60. And if you ever sat down with them, they can write a book on how miserable their marriage was, still is. They can write a book on how it's nothing, neither one gave one another. Meaning happiness in a way that the marriage itself survived on happiness, trust, togetherness, caring, and as the world calls it, love. You're not going to find that. Before they would tell you the truth, they'll tell you a bunch of lies. You know what they ride on? And I'm going to end there. The lies come from prideful mindset that want someone to think that they was in the marriage 60 years and knew that it was 60 years being miserable. I've heard it from too many women. Too many. And they older than I am. I'm telling you, the truth reside in those who can tell it now. Not those that's on all these platforms who portray everything is new and everything is different. Everything is this way, that way. No. There's testimonies out there that'll never get to anyone. So I, Sister Deborah, say I appreciate each and every last one of you all. And I will be back. Shalom and shalom.